Good evening. The topic of my talk today is prosperity. Specifically, I want to share some perspective on the founder Ernest Holmes' view of the relationship between our consciousness, our thoughts, and their impact on our prosperity. In his textbook, The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote that the illusion is in the way we look at things. We have looked at poverty, degradation, and misery until they have assumed gigantic proportions. Now we must look at harmony, happiness, plenty, prosperity, peace, and right action until they appear. When we consider it this way, prosperity is not about property, possessions, bank accounts, or other types of investment. Prosperity is the state of our very consciousness, projecting out into the world and reflecting back as our perceptions. Think of prosperity according to our belief, our mentality, the very way we look at things. This aspect of prosperity is not about counting coins or weighing precious metal. Instead, this approach to prosperity is based on understanding the way our consciousness interacts with the world around us, in the very ways that our own prosperous attitude helps us to see the flow of resources that are available to draw in and engage with our experience of life. This flow ignites and amplifies as we reach out and contribute our time, talent, and treasure in a way that starts the profound flow of resources at different levels in different places in our natural world. The prosperity of flow is not based on static quantities. Rather, it is a prosperity based on velocity and direction. What are the resources that, when put into motion, demonstrate action, reaction, and fulfillment? How about a friendly greeting, a smile, or a helping hand? At what point does a friendly attitude and a kindly action become part of our prosperity, whether we're giving it or receiving it? As I work with Ernest Holmes' guidance on prosperity, it seems to me that the wise choice is to view all of that as prosperity and abundance, to give the very best that I possibly can, and to receive with gratitude in all circumstances. When I look at all of my activity and interaction from the heart and consider all of it to be part of my prosperity, isn't it a continuous field of divine action? In the spiritual domain, I do not see any clear demarcation between offering a helping hand, being a good neighbor, answering a question, or making a larger contribution that is especially valuable. We've opened the tap and started the flow of prosperity. Stepping up to live that spiritual principle brings smiles all around. However, at what point should I anticipate being compensated? What returns to me and what is my reward after I open the tap and start that flow of divine prosperity? I believe this is the point where personal dialogue with our divine nature and some study and attention to spiritual principle becomes important. The discussion of prosperity moves from the basics up to a more advanced level. Just before the year-end holidays, USA Today shared a chilling estimate that 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. Fortune magazine put a fine point on this statistic, noting that 34% of Americans have no savings at all, while the other 35% have some savings, but less than $1,000. Looking at prosperity as hard assets or material stuff, this sounds like no prosperity of any kind. When we regard prosperity as spiritual principle instead of a material fact, then it may be that Americans have a slightly better prosperity consciousness than the media give us credit for. The Bible offers some insight to this dynamic or living aspect of prosperity. In the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, we read, "Give and it will be given to you. good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure with which you use it will be measured back to you. Could the Holy Scripture possibly be any clearer? As we measure the use of our resources, our prosperity, divine principle will open the flow of prosperity back to us. We have it from Ernest Holmes that our consciousness, our very thoughts, interact dynamically with our prosperity. As we activate the principle and generate the cause in our consciousness, we are called to hold the vision for prosperity to appear. And we have it from the Bible that the law measures prosperity in response to how we spend it. What does that mean to us? It means that we're living at a level of prosperity here in our first world life that really is significant. And the advanced study will be for the program next month and for the workshops that I welcome you to join us in our community. Thank you.